Music. Yes, then I remember that I started to pass. Little is his brother came to me to know. Calm down, you are feeling bad. This is bad for you. I said, I will sue the ex-fiancé to see what I can. Conducting marriage called me cursed on this cursed day. Bastard. He went out to lower the press. I pushed him. Really sick. My pressure dropped. He was your cousin. Music. Marina was marked, but did not marry. I'm ashamed to say the reason why she doesn't marry. If your treasure was abandoned at the altar, what would you do? Because Marina didn't let that happen. Marina, how old are you? I'm 35 years old. We're the same age. True, and I did. Congratulations, thank you. Kat, I'm so happy for you. You just know that you had a relationship that almost ended in marriage. You're practically only 15 days away from marriage, my God. Heavenly Father, let us go there. He starts telling me from the beginning, my dear Kat, how it all happened. So I met my ex-groom through Facebook. We had several friends in common, guys anyway. I spent my adolescence and early adulthood next to Rolls. He added me to Facebook. He was one of those guys who talk to themselves in Messenger. He knew everyone. There are some of them who send hi, you don't respond, but always insisting on almost daily sending hi or good afternoon, good night, hi beautiful, and you. He never responded the right way, and I was so happy one day that I thought it had been a year since he'd been talking alone. I answered him, and we started talking until we met. We were getting along great, but he didn't respond. You didn't hear your intuition that day. You spoke, and you see that's why it's important to hear our intuition. But then I answered, and we started talking right after. We started to stay together, and after a year, we started to get along practically. We dated for 2 years, and then he popped the question. We got engaged at his house, and it was a beautiful ceremony with lots of family and friends. I never thought I'd get married, but when I fell in love with him, I started dreaming of the big day. I even found a photographer, and you were there. I was a bit older, around 29, and he was a few years younger than me, so he was around 20. He was already 40, which is quite a bit older. We were in a relationship, and things were going pretty well. He was a really nice guy, and I fell in love with him. We got along with my family, and our relationship was pretty calm. I was head over heels for him, and he felt the same way. I had a relationship before, but it was pretty quiet. It was an easy relationship, and it's good to date older men. I prefer that, although it always gives me a headache in the end. We are looking for men who are older and more mature. He was bald, with small entrances, not bald, baldness of everything that only lives on a cap nose. But you were aware. I had dated someone before, but it was a pretty simple relationship. I prefer older men, and I was looking for someone with a certain maturity. He was bald, with small ears, and he didn't deceive you. He was wrong, but he was beautiful. This is a big problem, because we are 4, and they do what they want. I never thought I'd be with a bald man, but he was handsome. People don't imagine dating a car, but I did. I was in love with a true car, and then you were engaged. He asked you to be his calm one. I'm so glad we're on the same page. Calvo wasn't deceiving you, he was just wrong. Most cars are very beautiful, by the way. This is a big problem, because we are literally 4, and they do what they want. Exactly. I never thought I'd have a bald, but he was handsome. No, cars are people we don't even imagine in our lives. We're not used to dating a car, and suddenly falling in love with it. Then you were the one who asked me to marry him. I said we finished cute, and we started running after the wedding. I saw some buffet right away, and there was a big difference. He was a teacher, and I am a teacher. Teacher wins in great things here in Brazil, but I won 5 times more than him. So it turned out that 90% of the time, I was the one enjoying it. I'm just a calm cat who is shocked by these details. Hey, I totally get it. Waiting for you to talk to me is a whole different ball game. It's like you're making 5 times more than that, but you, teacher, you're not doing so well. My family is all teachers, so I totally get it. I know you should be raking in way more. Keep pushing, keep going, stand up for what you believe in. The police still come. We're all aware of the situation, and you always have a routine, right? Because your work doesn't just stop when class is over, does it? You go home, correcting proof, turning on the computer, connecting the printer, and making improvements. Hey, I totally get it. Waiting for you to talk to me is a whole different ball game. It's like you're raking in 5 times more than that, but you, my teacher, you're getting the short end of the stick. My family is all teachers, so I totally get it. You know you should be raking in way more. You're always protesting, and you're right, the police still come. We know exactly what's going on, and then you're always the teacher, who's got a ton on their plate, because your routine never ends. You go home, correct proof, connect the computer, print, and fix things. It takes a lot of time to make a plan that you didn't have time to do this morning. You'll do it at the end of the week, just like the life of a teacher knew in Brazil. Double, triple the journey, get the minimum of comfort, minimum of dignity, and then you were earning 5 times more than that. This didn't weigh on you at the beginning of the relationship with such a guy, an old man, who you earned a lot less than. I'm not banking on it. I'm tall enough. It takes a lot of time and effort to make a plan, and you didn't have time to do it this morning. You'll do it in the final home of the week, just like the life of a teacher new to Brazil. Double triple journey will get the minimum of comfort and dignity, and you'll earn 5 times more than that. This didn't weigh on you at the beginning of the relationship with such a guy. You earned a lot less than him, but that's not the case now. I'm tall enough. I say this because you're overthinking it. It didn't happen during dating or engagement. He knew that after being married, most of the accounts would go to me, but when we fell in love, we both got totally blind. I didn't even think about it. How was each one paid? He paid for me. I prefer to pay for myself. He paid for us to leave. He paid for something I paid for, so to make it clear that he was never. I say this because you're overbanking it. It's not like that during dating or engagement. He knew that after getting married, most of the accounts would go to me. But when we got in love, we got totally blind. I didn't even think about it. How was each one paid? He paid for me. I prefer to pay for myself. He paid for us to leave. He paid for something I paid for. So, to make it clear, he was never leaning against, not in question. He never has it been so. It's just to make it clear, because sometimes it can be in the air, and then you have to afford the costs of the engagement. That's what we dream of, right? To be a simpler thing, and we let's go to us to get excited. It's over. That simple marriage has become a wedding for 300 guests, and a buffet with a photo team filming musicians who dance at the party. Hey, have you seen those giant robots from Barman Photography Totem? The wedding cost 40,000 real, which is a lot, but it's totally worth it. I'm not great with numbers, but it was probably around 30,000. Oh my gosh, when it came to paying, he got emotional. He said he lost his job, so he gave me $9,000 from his termination, and I covered the rest. It's all good. So far, so good. Okay, the couple, is that right? He's got a lot of money, so he was able to pay for everything. We were so busy with the wedding that we didn't have time to rent a dress. We went to a store in São Caetano, which is a famous street for brides here in São Paulo. I rented a bridesmaid dress, and everyone was happy. We were so rushed, and we had to invite a lot of people to the wedding. We made a gift kit for the godparents, and we sat at home for several days working on it. So far, so good. The couple is wonderful, and he's very wealthy. He's got a lot of money, and he's renting a tuxedo. We went to a wedding dress shop in São Caetano, a famous street for brides in São Paulo. I rented a bridesmaid dress, and everyone was happy. We were in a rush and had to invite a lot of people to the wedding. We made a kit for the godparents, and we spent several days at home making it. We went to the groomsmen's place to rent a suit. I took the groomsmen to a store in Santo André to rent a tuxedo. The bridesmaids were renting a dress for the godparents. They asked me to give them a gift card for a buffet, but I asked them to give beer as a gift. They were all ready, and the invitations had been delivered. We went from home to home delivering the invitations. We're doing this together, and I'm so excited. The groomsmen are renting suits, and I took them to a store in Santo André. The bridesmaids are renting dresses for the godparents, and they asked me to give them a gift card for a buffet. I asked the godparents if they wanted beer, and they said they did. They were buying beer, and all the invitations had been delivered. We went from home to home delivering the invitations to the crowd until this period, and you were already actually in the activity, too. In the end, I was washing my car, and he sat there looking at me like that. Then I said, "As soon as you love me, you'll know." He said, "As soon as I love you, why are you staring at me?" I said, "Because I love you." We were inseparable during this period. I was planning to get married, and he was planning to be in the relationship. In the end, I was washing my car, and he was sitting there looking at me like that. Then I said, "As soon as you are ready." He said, "As soon as I love you." He was staring at me, and I knew why. I was looking at him because I love you. We are going to get married. I'm happy, you know. 15 days before the wedding, I went to sleep. He went to sleep first. He was here at home, right? We dated together, but he stayed a lot in my house. I went to sleep later, and I was excited to see the wedding. I slept when it was morning. The phone woke me up at work. I woke up with him cursing me, and he was cursing me because you came too. I'm so excited to get married. I'm sure you're as happy for me. 15 days before the wedding, I went to sleep. He was the first to fall asleep. We dated, and he often stayed over at my place, but the night before the wedding, I went to sleep later, and was more excited about the big day. I woke up to the phone ringing in the morning. When I answered, he was cursing at me. He said, "You came to sleep late yesterday, because you were talking to a man on the cell phone and swearing." I asked, "What about the conversation on the mobile?" He said, "I took his cell phone and caught you talking to a man on the cell phone." I asked, "What happened there?" He said, he picked up my cell phone and saw a post on Instagram about Auro Preto singing a romantic song that I like a lot. I commented on how beautiful it was. I was mesmerized. This was my comment in music referring to, the song was for the singer, not me. I was talking about the music, and he really liked it. There were thousands of comments on the post, and I didn't even notice that he enjoyed it. I went to sleep, and he was really into the music. I like this song a lot, and I went to sleep. He found me asleep, and took my cell phone to see if I had taken anything. I was talking about the music, and he enjoyed it back. There were thousands of comments on the post, and I didn't even realize that he enjoyed it back. He went to sleep, and I went to sleep. He took his cell phone to search to see if I had taken something, and he found that I hadn't. He searched so much that he wanted to take it. It was the cue that the singer was enjoying it back right from you. You were marked as your wedding groom in less than 2 weeks, and you were going to be with a married alien in the finger. Then, he took his cell phone and saw that Dinho Auro Preto enjoyed your comment. This is because you know the reason why you were enjoying a song of him. They are great, even the songs of Capital. Your groom is sorry because the black money. He was so grateful for your comment that he wanted to share it with you. He was amazed by the song and felt so connected to it. I'm not sure if it was the singer who appreciated your comment, but I'm so happy to have been a part of this. I woke up and saw that I had already talked to a man on my phone. I realized that I had been talking to a guy on Instagram who had fallen asleep later than me. I was in the room, on my phone, trying to get him to talk to me. I felt like my daughter was understanding me, even though I wasn't sure what I was saying. I told her about a guy I liked, and she told me that it was AI. I started to understand, and he started. I was scolded by a certain mother, who called me a cursed bastard. She was upset, because I didn't pay attention to her when she was talking to someone else. I went to sleep later, because I was exhausted. He was in a lot of pain, and I was worried. I asked her to leave, and I told him when he calmed down. I was shocked by what happened, and it upset me so much that I didn't even want to work. I just lay on the bed and thought about it. I went to bed and fell asleep, because I wasn't sure what was going on. When I woke up, one of the bridesmaids was calling. I don't remember if it was my cousin. I don't remember talking about your fiancé putting me in the group of godparents. I was part of the bridesmaids group and the groomsmen's group. The wedding was cancelled because he took you from conversation with another man. My father, brothers, and brothers were the groomsmen in my wedding. I called my father, and he called me. I don't remember what happened, but I was feeling a bit overwhelmed that day. I asked the bridesmaid group what was going on, and I said, "No, please, I'm begging you. Talk to another man." I said, "What happened?" It turned out that I had taken a comment from the Auro Preto page, and the girl said so. Wow, he's so passionate. It's wild how things are unfolding. I mean, when I showed print, I said, people, I said money. Black, I said, here in Sao Paulo, he's there. I don't recall saying that. I didn't even say that in this particular talk. I said something like, well, I said like this. He wanted me, but nothing happened right. When you went to curse, you did. At some point in the morning, he spoke of Auro Preto, or did he only refer to, wow, he's really something. It's wild how things played out, especially when I showed up. I said, people, I said money, black. I said here in Sao Paulo. He was there. I don't recall saying that particular thing, but I guess I didn't mean it like that. I was just saying that he wanted me, and I was about to go, but for some reason, things didn't work out. At some point, he mentioned Auro Preto, or maybe he was just talking about a man. Do you think he realized he was an artist, or did he not even know? Then, he realized he was an artist, right? Even if you didn't know, you could have understood later. We talked about that, and you were there. But you talked before that. I was trying to talk to everyone, because he caused a bit of chaos in the groomsmen group. He said the marriage was cancelled, and it interrupted the conversation I was having with a man. He's a man, so you think he realized he was an artist, or he didn't even know? Then he realized he was an artist, because, for God's sake, right? And even if you didn't, and perceived later, we talked about that, understood. But you talked before this, not after. I was trying to talk to everyone, because he caused chaos in the groomsmen group by saying that the marriage was cancelled, because it caught me from talking with the man. I was talking to him, and he called me to know what that was happening, right? And on Friday, I didn't talk to him. It was practically talking to people I was with. Anger also didn't talk to him when it was on Saturday. I called him, and we stayed about 3 hours on the phone talking. The first thing you said was that one was from Auro Preto, and I was enjoying a song. Exactly. What happened is, why did you react that way, right? We talked on the phone on Friday, but I didn't talk to him. I was with other people. I didn't talk to him on Saturday either. I called him, and we talked on the phone for about 3 hours. He said he was from Auro Preto, and I was enjoying a song. That's exactly what happened, right? Why did you react that way? We talked until then, and everything was finished. He said you are also thinking about the wedding rush and are alone in this cell phone, seeing the things of the wedding, really in this case, because it was missing little, and you are not giving me attention to this. Another logical thing is that I paid attention to him. I was lying down on his lap, seeing the wedding things, sharing with him. Know that, through marriage things, you are paying attention. We talked for a while, and then we went back to talking about the wedding. He said that you were thinking about the wedding rush, and that you were alone in the cell phone, seeing the things of the wedding, because it was missing little and you weren't giving me attention. I was paying attention to him, lying down on his lap and sharing with him the things about the wedding. I was telling him that you're going to marry someone with black money, and I was there with him next door many times, stirring my cell phone with the things of the wedding lying in the chest of it. We lie on the side by side, but he complained that I wasn't paying proper attention. He may also have been rushing the wedding, running off work, and everything, but I don't think I needed these family people you betrayed. I know you're upset, and I'm sorry you didn't talk to me about it. I was shocked when you said that about our wedding. You said we were a marked wedding, and that we were in the groomsmen's group with my father and brothers. I said as soon as the wedding was cancelled, you took a conversation with another man. I said that it didn't happen, and we talked for 3 hours. I had a chance to chat with him on Saturday, and we had a nice conversation over the phone. Then, on Sunday, I had another opportunity to talk, and I was a little embarrassed, because my dad and brothers were there, and they were a bit over the top. He posted something on Facebook about it on the same day that he was supposed to meet with the godparents. I guess he was trying to make the same point about marriage, which is why it didn't work out. My brother called him on time, and that's when he realized it was a good time to end things. I had a really nice talk with him on Saturday, and we had a great conversation on Sunday. I was a little embarrassed because my father and brothers were over, and he posted about it on Facebook. He posted about it on Facebook on the same day that he had warned the godparents in a group. I think he was trying to be funny, but it was a bit rude. My brother called him right away and said, "Can you delete this post? If you don't, we'll have to have a more serious conversation, because my sister is not like this. My sister is not like that. What a shame. I'm sure my sister didn't do this. She doesn't act like that, so she can delete it, and I'll try to understand." A wedding was happening 15 days ago, and people were calling me and asking if we were going. He said he could erase this, but if I didn't, we'd have to have a more serious conversation. He said my sister's not like that, and he was really worried about her. He said he's sure she didn't do this, and he said he understands that a wedding was happening in 15 days. He said he was trying to get it right, and he was trying to get people to know if we were going. A lot of people, especially my family, were angry at him, especially after the post on Facebook on Friday the 24th. He said he was really worried about missing the last ticket to pay on the 24th, and he was at home and didn't get well. He said he has an anxiety disorder and depressive episodes because of it, and he takes care of himself and takes medication. I'm doing my best to get things right, and I'm grateful for the support I've received. I was a bit upset when I saw the post on Facebook on Friday the 24th, especially since I had missed the last ticket to pay. I was at home, and I wasn't feeling my best. I have anxiety disorder and depressive episodes because of it, so I take medication and do therapy with my psychiatrist. I've been doing this for many years, but this question made me anxious, and I didn't go to work. I couldn't get out of bed for days. Everything that happened shook me deeply. I spent Saturday, Sunday, and Monday feeling overwhelmed. On Tuesday, I received a message from my brother, who asked me to take the money from his card. I owed him money, and I made a purchase on his card. I was seeing a psychiatrist for many years, but this question made me anxious, and I didn't go to work. I couldn't stop thinking about everything that had happened. I spent Saturday, Sunday, and Monday feeling really shaken up. On Tuesday, I received a message from my brother asking me to take the money from his card. I owed him money, and I made a purchase on his card 6 hours earlier. I heard my brother calling from the gate. I was a little confused, so I went to the gate to talk to him. I said, "I don't want to open the gate." "I don't want to open the gate for you," he said. "I won't open the gate for you. You can say who died." Unfortunately, my middle brother had died that morning. 5 days after the funeral, in the morning, I heard my brother calling out to someone. I was a little confused, so I asked him, "What's going on? Why are you calling out to someone?" He replied, "I need to talk to you. I don't want to open the gate." I told him, "No, I won't open the gate for you. You can say who died." Unfortunately, my middle brother passed away that morning. 5 days later, my brother's heart stopped. "I can't believe that you're still here." I was living this moment, and then my brother passed away. His brother, who passed away, was the godfather of marriage. He was in the group of groomsmen. I remember that I had to. Unfortunately, I lost this picture of him in a wedding tuxedo that I rented. I went to the store with him. He rented it there. I said that he was handsome. I took a photo. Unfortunately, I lost this. My brother made and ended a relationship. He had a cardiorespiratory arrest. I was living this moment, and my brother passed away. He was the godfather of marriage and a groomsman. I remember I had to. Unfortunately, I lost the picture of him in his wedding tuxedo. I went to the store with him and said he was handsome. I took a photo of us, but I lost it. I lost a photo of my brother and me smoking, too. I woke up with the news that my brother had died. I remember calling people right away to see how my mother was doing. My father and mother were right there. I started calling people to warn them. I even called the fire department to warn them that my brother had passed away. He became incredulous and said he went home and was lying on the couch all day, crying. I think he was feeling remorseful, because he thought what happened had been influenced by. I had no idea why he'd done that. Then the other guy started thinking I'd spread rumors about him and his sister. That was a very crazy day. I spent the day at the funeral home in Milwaukee, and it was night in my body. My brother arrived at the wake, and he wasn't obviously there for the funeral, because if he was, I would have been very upset. I remember waking up and crying. I was trying to understand why he had done that. I was thinking about the things I did with his sister. That was a very crazy day. I spent the day going to the funeral home in ML. It was night time when my brother arrived at the wake. He wasn't there for the funeral, because if he had been, it would have been hard for me. I remember waking up, crying, and going back to sleep. I woke up and saw that my brother was lying next to the coffin. I got in the car and slept. It was like that until the funeral. We came home as I said. Last bill of $3,800 was on the 24th. It was my brother's death day. I arrived from the wake knowing that the ticket was overdue. I went to the bench with the foot full. He slept in the bedroom, and when he woke up, he saw that my brother was there. He got in the car and slept, and it was like that until the funeral. We came home on the 24th, as I said. The bill of $3,800 was due on the 24th, which was my brother's death day. I arrived from the wake, knowing that the ticket was overdue. I went to the cemetery and paid the ticket so as not to get dirty. I said later that I would see the owner of the buffet in question about the evolution of the value right. 2 days later, he came home to see me to see how I was. I was knocked down. When he arrived, I was with swollen eyes. When he saw me, I started to cry again. He was already here. You won't be crying, right? You already scolded me. You won't cry. I bought a ticket to the cemetery, so that I wouldn't get dirty. I told the owner of the buffet that I wanted to discuss the cost, and 2 days later, he came to my house to see how I was doing. I was upset and crying when he arrived. He said, "You're not going to cry, are you? I came here to see you, not to cry." We tried to get back together, and my wedding was planned for the 26th. But on the 27th, the people tried to report the relationship, and the wedding was cancelled. We spent some time together after that, but we didn't get married. I didn't want to take the wedding further. I had no right to come here and see you, and I'm sorry if I upset you. I tried to start our relationship again, and my wedding was supposed to be on the 2nd, but it ended up being on the 26th. The marriage was planned for the 2nd, but the people tried to report the relationship. We spent some days together, but with marriage, everything was marked. I didn't want to take the wedding further, especially because I had just buried my brother. I was alone, and I couldn't think straight. For the second time, he ended up with me, and I think 2 or 3 weeks later, he started a relationship. He was really sick, and my pressure dropped. He calmed down and assumed a relationship 2 weeks after the date you were going to marry. You discovered how I found out why he didn't simply choose. In his photos, she started to comment, and he didn't hide, he took it to his family. I was in a really tough spot, because I had just buried my brother, and nobody was around to support me. For the second time, he ended up with me, and I think it was 2 or 3 weeks later. He started to feel really sick, my pressure dropped, and he calmed down. He proposed 2 weeks after the date we were supposed to get married. You found out why he didn't just choose his photos. He started to comment on them and to love these things, and he didn't hide it. He took it to his family, and soon, he got a serious relationship on Facebook. At some point, he mentioned that you had paid $40,000 at 31,000 reais. I told him I only paid 3,800 of the tickets myself. I paid for part of the wedding through a payroll loan, and I have a debt from this loan. I said, I will. We got to talking, and before I knew it, we were talking about getting married. He said he'd sell his alliance and mine for half the price, and I said I'd help him pay off a loan I had. I told him I didn't want to marry him, but I needed his help. I said, I won't take this debt alone. You'll help me with the loan. So I started talking to the providers, because I had to tell them the marriage wasn't going to happen. I started talking to the providers, and then that fine absurdity came up. There was even more missing, and the time for the wedding was a week away. I lost a lot because of the contract. There was a time for you to ask for a refund. I said, I really appreciate your help, I know we're not planning on getting married, but I'd love your assistance with the loan. I won't be able to handle this debt alone. I started talking to lenders, because I had to let them know that the marriage wasn't going to happen. I started talking to the lenders, but then something strange happened. A week before the wedding, the time disappeared. I lost a lot because of the contract. There was a time for you to ask for a refund. I said, I really appreciate your help. I remember that our alliances were golden, since the engagement. I said, you will sell this alliance to help me pay what I have to pay, and that's it. I remember that he left my house and asked for the alliance. He said, I will sell the alliance. I will give you the money. I said, I didn't say I wouldn't take this damage. He said he had placed his alliance and mine in. I said, you'll help, right? I remember our alliance was golden, since the engagement he bought. I said, you'll sell this alliance to help me pay what I need to pay, and that's it. I remember he left my house and asked for the alliance. He said, I'll sell the alliance and give you the money. I said, I didn't say I wouldn't take half of the damage. He said he had placed his alliance and mine in his pocket, but he had lost it. I couldn't believe this car did this. So he didn't give you the money. I didn't get crazy. Who took the pocket of the shorts? It was boring. But then he finished with me on the day of his nephew's birthday. I appeared on the birthday, and it ended with me again. I appeared on the nephew's birthday of him. I remember that I came out collecting everything I had of him in my house. I took a bag. I got to the scene just as the car door opened. I saw Baikuda, the son of __, standing there with a bag. He shouted, leave here with the bag, take the things of him in hand. I threw the bag on the street, and he went out to pick it up. I pushed him, and his sister said, the child's party was ruined by the train. I said, no, I don't even want to know, and his sister said, I got knowing that his sister was also. I got there, and I was already feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders. I opened the car door, and my brother started yelling at me from the gate. He was so upset, and he was holding a bag with things in it. I threw the bag on the street, and he went out to pick it up. I pushed him, and his sister said, the child's party is ruined. I told her, no, I don't even want to know, and she said, I got that from his speech that he had finished me for being betrayed. This conversation came to me, and I remember that I talked about this. You also, I said. Then, I remember that I started to pass, barely. His brother came to do so. Calm down. You are feeling bad. This is bad for you. Don't do that. You are doing badly to yourself, he said. I came away, and soon, it assumed the relationship with this girl. This girl spent Christmas and New Year in his house with his family. I had a conversation with him, and he was really hurt, because I felt betrayed. I remember talking about this with you, and I also remember that I started to feel better after his brother came to visit. I said, calm down. You're feeling bad. This is bad for you. Don't do that. You're doing badly to yourself. And I left. Soon after, I started a relationship with this girl. She spent Christmas and New Year with his family, as if nothing had happened to me. His family treated me as if I were worthless. But I'm wrong. Imagine not doing anything to upset the bride, who was 15 days away from the wedding, and me passing away. For all this, my brother asked me about my feelings. I told him that I was passing away, and what happened after the wedding was the end of the year. It was in January when it hit me. I said that I was going to look for a lawyer, because I couldn't stay in the marriage. I said that I would sue the ex-fiancé to see what I could get out of the marriage, what made me hope to notice, and I looked for a lawyer. I said, I didn't lose much money. I told him, I lost a lot of money. I'm having a problem with a buffet, and I said, I don't think. Just that he made him act, living his life as if. I was thinking about finding a lawyer, because I didn't want to stay in this marriage. I said that I would sue my ex-fiancé to see what I could get out of the marriage. I looked for a lawyer, and I said that I didn't want to lose much money. I told him that I had lost a lot of money. I said that I was having a problem with a buffet, and I said that I didn't think that he had made him act. I said that I wanted one process for material damages, and the lawyer had already filed a process for moral damages. I also joined a process in January. I only know that it took a few months for the subpoena for him to be issued in the process, and in June, there was an audience. We went to the audience, and I took my witnesses. He took the witnesses of him, and I guess he took the woman as a witness. I'm sure she was his mother. I said, nothing had happened. He replied, I want one process for material damages. I said, the lawyer has already filed a process for moral damages. I also joined a process in January. I only know that it took a few months for him to get the subpoena in the process, and in June, we went to the audience. I took my witnesses with me, and he took the witnesses of him. I'm sure he took the witness, the woman. The person awoke you, and you were not cursing or saying that you had a conversation with a man, which you obviously did not. Something had black money, and something was right then. I know, right? I know it didn't take long. It took only 2 weeks. He appeared here, and then he followed his life until the day of the audience arrived. He led his lover as a witness. There we entered a room, and he, his lawyer, me, and my lawyer did the conciliation. I didn't want to conciliate. You were woken up by someone who was cursing and saying that you had a conversation with a man, and obviously you didn't. Something had black money, and it appeared right then. I know. It didn't take long, it took only 2 weeks. He appeared here, and then he followed his life until the day of the audience arrived. He led his lover as a witness. There we entered a room where he, his lawyer, my lawyer, and I did the conciliation. I didn't want to conciliate. My lawyer asked for $40,000 in data intervention compensation. I was crazy to know what the woman had to say. I said she was a witness to what she would say. She was a witness, but the judge called her to the witness stand, and I die of curiosity to this day to know what she had to say. When he received the subpoena, he appeared right then. He likes to appear right there. My lawyer asked for $40,000 in compensation, and I was a bit taken aback by the request. I asked her what she had to say, since she was a witness in the case. But the judge called her as a witness, and I'm still curious to know what she said. When he received the subpoena, he appeared right away. He made another Facebook post saying that the crazy one put me on the spot, because of the issue of marriage. She's jealous because I have another. Then I remembered that some friends of his who I invited to the wedding that I went to deliver spoke so. It breaks the face of your wife. This slut dismissed the case, picked up with her life, and is doing it out of respect. The lawsuit against him is rolling right. I'm so confused. The crazy to the crazy put me on the spot about the issue of marriage. She's jealous because I have another. She's doing it just to spite me. Then I remember that some friends of his who I invited to the wedding that I went to deliver, I spoke to. It breaks my heart. It asks your wife to break her face. This slut dismissed it, picked up with her life, and is doing it out of respect. The lawsuit against him is rolling right. It hasn't rolled yet. But then it gave that the Brazilian justice system clowned the compensation of $4,000 of $40,000 interest. It gave me $4,000, and he paid nothing. He preferred to dirty his name right. My lawyer for a while sought goods, but I knew he was not well. He had not even a bicycle of goods, and it was for that very reason that he was waiting to receive it. But he never got in touch with you. I never. Sometimes I give. It hasn't been rolling, but it gave me that. The Brazilian justice system is clowning around with the compensation of 4,000 of 40,000 interest, giving me 4, and he paid nothing. He preferred to tarnish his reputation, and my lawyer for a while sought goods, but I knew he was not well. He didn't even have a bicycle, and it was for that very reason that he was waiting to receive. But he never got in touch with you again. I never gave up. Sometimes I give up, but not sometimes. Some profiles appear to be suspects, because he makes profiles with names that I know are him and me. He adds the name of the street where he lived, the profile name of the street where he lived, and the name of the school he studied. I understand this will make 5 years since this happened. This is 5 years. Look at what I said. So in the random 5 years, how are you going to let him go there because he doesn't deserve? I'm doing well, as always. I've been working through all the pain I felt when my brother passed away. We're a close-knit family, and I'm very close to my brothers. My other brothers live nearby, and I'm very attached to them. The youngest one keeps bothering me. He sends me messages in the morning and at night, telling me to go here and there. It's the most painful thing I've ever experienced. I'm doing well, and I'm so grateful that you're asking about me. I'm actually feeling pretty good these days. I've been working through all the pain I felt when my brother passed away. We're a close family, and we've been really supportive of each other. I'm really close with my brothers, and the other brothers live nearby. I'm really attached to them. My youngest brother, though, is kind of on his own. He sends me messages in the morning and at night, and is always asking me to go somewhere. At the time, the loss of my brother was the hardest thing for me. But there were other things that hurt, too. Of course, you had a hard time. You had to deal with the pain of losing someone you loved. I was crazy about him, so it made sense that I would marry him. I was crazy about him. It was a really important part of my life, and whenever I think about it, I get a little emotional, because there are things that I remember the loss of my brother, but that's not the only thing I remember from back then. I also had to deal with abandonment and a dream that was no longer possible. I was madly in love with someone, so it makes sense that I would want to marry him. I was head over heels for him, and it was a period of my life that I'm still processing. I remember things that make it feel like the days were passing by in a blur. I don't have much memory of what happened, but I remember being 4 months away from being an expert in my field. I went to deliver for 10 days, and the experts saw that I wasn't well. He walked me away for 4 months, so I was with my parents and brothers the whole time. We were all there for each other, and it was a tough time. I have such fond memories of the time I spent with my parents and brothers. It was a challenging period, but we found solace in each other's company. I had to wait 8 months for the audience, and it was the last time I saw him. I don't wish to see him again, but I feel good. I don't feel any other way. I don't feel bad. I have forgiven him, but I can't forget. But that doesn't stop me. I'm so grateful for the time we had together. It was complicated, because I had to wait 8 months after the incident to see him again. But it was the last time I saw him. The last time I saw him was in an audience, but today, I don't want to see him again. I feel good, and I don't feel anything else. I don't feel bad. I have this feeling that I don't have to forgive him. But that doesn't stop me from living or following my life. It doesn't stop me from thinking about these things. I'm telling you this today, because I want to, but I haven't told so many people. It doesn't hurt any. In the old days, I could tell, but today, I'm very in touch. I'm happy that I'm talking to you. Thank you for your trust. Tell me what this story left for you, and what you learned from her. I'm not sure if I've learned anything good, to be honest. I know you left me some kind of message, and that's why I'm here today. I'm not sure if it's good to trust people. I stayed for 5 years, and for 4 of those years, I was single. I didn't want to know a man who was close to me, someone to work and study with, but I didn't want to know anyone, because it's hard for you. I'd like to say that I learned some valuable lessons, but that's not quite how it went down. You left me with some lingering feelings, and that's not what I'm looking for. I spent 5 years in this relationship, 4 of which were spent without any kind of romantic connection. I didn't want to get close to anyone, because it's hard to trust someone new. Music. I was married to someone I loved deeply, but they ended up hurting me. I think it would have been better if they had just talked to me. That's not what I wanted. I'm scared of what's happening. I don't think it's good for a lot of people close to marriage to get married too quickly. I'm worried about the way some people handle crises in their relationships. I feel more for someone else than I have accused me of. He accused me of things that weren't true. He tried to call me over and over, and it's hard to trust someone else again. I've already lived alone right when we were together. He continues to live alone, and I value my peace and freedom. I'm doing okay now, all quiet. I'm in peace, mainly because I have many flaws, but I'm not hurting anyone. My conscience is calm. I lie down at night on my pillow and sleep quietly, because I know I haven't done anything wrong. I'm at peace these days, and I'm grateful for that. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying my best. I'm not one to hurt anyone on purpose, but sometimes it's hard to know what to do. I don't understand why it's so hard to say I love you to someone. It's not like it's a bad thing to love someone. I don't understand why it's so hard to just show some love. I'm curious to know what's happening. I wish I could understand, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm sure I'll figure it out soon. I think there's a manual that comes with it, but I'll have to look for it. Music. One day, I'm with a bench, and the next day, I'm somewhere else. The world will end, and all she wants to do is dance. She just wants to dance, 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 drive, sing.